All right, welcome back. In a few moments, we will be ringing the New York Stock Exchange's closing bell in celebration of our 20th anniversary here at CNBC. The closing bell being rung right here from our headquarters. And we've got a couple of the headliners and certainly the 2 decades of service players and what they've witnessed. Joining me now, Ron Insana, Sue Herrera, Scott Cohn, Ted David, a blast from the past,
Good
Ted.
to be back. Good to
so
be back.
you were here on day one. Scott, you were here on day one. And Sue, you were here on day one. Tell me, I mean, wow. Tell us how CNBC was born, Sue.
Well, basically, Financial News Network was already in existence, and it was providing business news. And I think Jack Welch and Bob Wright both thought that there was room for another player. And they thought that perhaps it could be less market-oriented and more consumer-oriented. That obviously changed over the years, but they really thought that there was room in the space to dominate business news.
It was called Consumer Business News.
Consumer News and Business Channel.
CNBC. Scott, tell me, what do you remember from those early days?
I remember that we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants, and that made it fun. It was exciting. I mean, there were things that we didn't have desks, we didn't have vehicles for the crews, and everything, to do it in this day and age, when things move so much faster, would have been a whole lot more difficult. We would work on a story all day. It would run at 6 o'clock at night on Sue's show, Business View, and it'd run a few times the next day. You couldn't do that anymore nowadays, but that was the way it worked.
And Ted, you were on the air day one with Money Wheel.
Money Wheel won day one. It was exciting, and nobody knew what they were doing. I certainly didn't. I didn't know a stock from a bond. We decided that Leslie Carday, my co-anchor, would handle the first interview with Abby Joseph Cohen about stocks because she owns stocks. So we figured, therefore, she obviously ipso facto knew more about stocks.
What it is.
The late Michael Metz was on with us that day.
Right.
We had a great time, and we learned as we went. But it was a lot of fun, and we all get a lot of nachas, if you will, coming back 20 years later to see this network and what it is now and how it's grown. And of course, I had the pleasure of working with you as well, and with Ron,
absolutely.
and Sue, and Scott was always out there in the field, so it's great to be back.
Well, I came 4 years into it in 1993. This is my 16th year, and I did my first live shot with Ron Insana.
I remember that very well. Yeah, I think it was the Paramount story, if I recall correctly.
I was on a street corner, and you were here in the studio.
And I got here May 22nd, 1991, anchored 3 hours a day with Ted David for a number of months, if not
That's
years.
How he lost his hair.
That is how I lost my hair. Yeah, the off-camera stuff was far more interesting than the on-camera stuff, I must say. But, Sue had left FNN 2 years before Bill Griffith and I did, and Joe Kernan. I hired Joe Kernan at FNN. For those of you who want to blame anybody, blame me. But we got here in 91, and it took actually a number of years for everything to gel, and it finally did in about 97, and it's been that 11-year run's been astounding.
I started on my birthday, September 11th. 1993 as a reporter here. So what do you think as you look back, and I mean everybody here, in terms of what CNBC has been able to accomplish?
I think it was our ability to really break through parts of Wall Street that previously were closed to the individual investor. I think back on your Squawk Box hits in the morning, talking about research reports that previously nobody could get a hold of.
We broke open the research call.
Yeah, and really bringing Wall Street to Main Street in a meaningful way, and also becoming part of the investor family. I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of all of my colleagues and being here. I mean, it's such a privilege to work at this company.
And it's gotten more sophisticated over the years as investors have become more sophisticated, armed with more information.
Infinitely more sophisticated. I mean, when I got into the business, stock options were complicated. And now we've got credit default swaps, collateralized debt obligations.
We sure
They
did.
just showed a picture of me with my hairpiece, which was really, really not nice. That was not the anniversary memory I wanted.
Come on.
They have a picture of me.
A lot of us have lost a little bit of hair over the years.
Well, my hair was so big they couldn't
Oh,
even
you
get the
had
graphic
big hair.
in
You
the
had
side
really
of the
big hair.
I want to say one thing. In the beginning, for some of us who had no business background, we didn't know a thing about covering the stock market. People like Sue, like Neil Cavuto, Hillary Johnson, were very, very generous in helping us not make complete fools of ourselves on the air, because some of us didn't know what a 401k was or the difference between a stock and a bond, and that's what helped here. It was a real team effort that the haves and the have-nots, that is with the knowledge, exchanged, and were very nice about it.
You mentioned Neil Cavuto. He went to the other side.
He did.
And how about the
dark side.
How about the first?
Same amount of hair, which is amazing. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, how about the first guest, Bob Brusca, married Kathleen Hayes?
Kathleen Hayes, that's right. The other thing that helped us all learn and held us to account all along was the viewers. The nice thing about this place has always been it's such a smart audience hello audience.
Yes.
I mean, always held us to account, always keeps you on the top of your game. And I had no business background when I came here. I had a journalism background, came at it like a journalist, but you had to get it right. You knew you had to get it right.
And the one thing about that, Maria, is very few of us had a business background. There was no such thing as professional business news, prior to the start of FNN and then with the merger of CNBC. And now there's a whole industry. I mean, there are young kids, and for those of us who are old enough to have, been around in the very early days, I mean, there's a whole industry that grew up around all of us that now actually offers opportunities to kids who used to think of business news as a backwater of journalism.
Well, now there's a lot of women in the business today, Sue, and that's really great.
And actually, we here at CNBC have an awful lot of female colleagues here, which I'm very proud of as well, because I think our network has been very progressive in that. And, once again, thanks to the viewers, because, for many of you, we've been together for 25 years, and it is a terrific privilege.
It really is. And they're waking up with us, they're going to sleep with us, having dinner with us, and the best part of it is whatever happens, they will email us immediately and say, that's wrong, that's right, and we still need that.
And I want to say thank you, I still get email from viewers wishing me well in my retirement, and it's very nice of you to do it, and I appreciate it. And still, to this day, very gratifying.
Final word, how much did GE pay for CNBC, do you remember?
I don't remember.
$154 million.
$154 million. Woo!
I'm just really glad they did.
It's worth $6 billion now.
Worth $6 billion today. Thank you. Coming up, we are wrapping up a historic day as CNBC prepares to ring the closing bell live from CNBC Global Headquarters. Back in a moment.
CNBC. Fantastic day.
We've got all of our colleagues from around the world here with us. We've got Dick Grasso here up on the podium ringing the bell with us. It's been a historic day for CNBC as we celebrate 20 years.
The special presentation on behalf of the exchange, CNBC, 20 years. Thank you very much. The bull and the bear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate that. Rich Adamanis from the New York Stock Exchange.
Thank you.
For you and for the entire network.
It's a fantastic day. I mean, this is an organization, 850 strong around the world that brings it every day, has worked so hard and so long and so well, and I couldn't be more happy. Just a great day. Thank you.
Jeff Zucker, congratulations to you. A lot of people talk about network television. You've talked a lot about the cable stations being so critical to NBC Universal.
Well, the cable networks are critically important to NBC Universal, and there's none as important as CNBC. It's a great symbol of the company, a great symbol for General Electric. On a great day for CNBC, congratulations to everybody associated with it.
Thank you, Jeff Zucker and Mark Kaufman. We had a wild day on Wall Street. Meanwhile, there is more news to tell you about. The market's closing on the quiet side. Let's send it down to the New York Stock Exchange. Rebecca Jarvis, what's happening right now?
Thanks so much, Maria Bartiromo. Happy birthday, 20th birthday to CNBC, and a happy day.